they could do so. And with certain limitations, this is the same thing that's taking place at our airport. Most of the time, people don't want to go ahead and put all those elements together to go ahead and do what we're taking a look at here. But the fact of the matter is there's absolutely no need to reference whether or not anybody can be successful or not if they were to do such an enterprise. And that was the whole purpose of the course that I took.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roger.
Commissioner. I do have an additional point to make. Am I going to be allowed?
Let's save that to the end.
Fair enough. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Marcia Bailey.
Marcia Bailey, 61285 Highway 90. My deepest concern is the fact that this was all under the table. And I don't think that's becoming of any three of you. And it certainly is a very difficult thing for a citizen to accept, that you're going into a contract, 75 pages, and we can't get it. We don't know anything about it, and this is underhanded. I don't know that I call it sleazy, but it's not becoming of you or the citizens of Montrose County.
No, I would respectfully disagree, because if that's the case, then every contract, this is the first time that, since I've been a commissioner, that somebody has made that remark regarding any contract that I've put my signature to over these last almost 6 years. So
This is big. This is big time. This is
big time for who, Marcia?
For us. It's
You own an airplane and fly, Marcia?
Heavens no. But this is big time for the taxpayers of this county.
You're right.
And-
This is a
and
job
this is-
creation project if I ever saw one.
Everything is supposed to be job creation and all that stuff, and it never turns out that way. It turns out that we pay. We get our taxes raised, and I don't know how much you've spent on attorneys, but I know it's in the millions, and we could sure have used that money. You are supposed to be our problem solvers, and
Marcia,
Damn,
we don't
if I
sue
don't
people.
think-
People sue us. Our current FBO has sued us over this very issue. Did we instigate that? Absolutely not.
absolutely you did, by
So-
not talking to them.
Marcia? So you've made a statement as opposed to asking a question. Do you have a question?
I have a question of why you kept this under the table until the very last minute, and we couldn't even get the contract till last night at 9:30 or whatever it was. That's just not the way you should do it. That's all my comment.
Okay, thank you. Next speaker would be Judy Kahn.
My name is Judy Kahn. My address is 1017 Phillips Court in Montrose, CONN. I'm the controller at the Black Canyon Jet Center, and I have a letter to read from Kevin Egan, the owner of Jet Center Partners, LLC, doing business as Black Canyon Jet Center. This letter was written on Saturday, April 12th.
Would you have one to, since you're introducing that, we'll need one for the record to give to the clerk.
Did you need that now?
No, go ahead and read it, but if you would please give it to Marie Simons, who's the clerk to the board.
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Thank you, and this is written to the Board of County Commissioners. Dear Commissioners, I obviously have strong feelings about whether it makes long-term sense for the county to provide inducements to cause a second FBO to come onto the airport right now. However, I'm writing now to express my concern about the process by which that important decision is being vetted and made. As I write this letter, all I know about the Monday meeting is the notice that was posted on Thursday night and the article that appeared in the Saturday edition of the Daily Press. The contract itself is not yet available for review, and you haven't been willing to provide public access to any other information about what is under discussion, including the proposal Majestic submitted in response to the RFP. When Jetaway made a settlement offer that included granting it an FBO proposal, the board made that proposal public and organized public forums to answer questions, share information, and obtain citizen input. Citizens had a fair opportunity to inform themselves of what was under consideration and to provide thoughtful input. I encourage you to utilize that process again and not to claim that what you're pulling together over the weekend is the equivalent of a public hearing, in quotes. One of the questions that deserves discussion is what effect, if any, federal grant assurances have on decisions you make about entering into a contract with Majestic. If you're willing to schedule a real public hearing, I will offer to bring an aviation expert to the forum at my expense to work with Dan Reamer to provide to the county and to the community a more focused understanding of what grant assurances really require. No matter what I personally feel about the merits, I recognize that review of complete, unbiased information and a full vetting of different perspectives won't mean that everyone will end up in full agreement on what direction is right for the future of the Montrose Airport. It should, though, result in a healthier discussion, greater levels of trust, and hopefully a more thoughtful balancing of competing interests. Depriving Montrose citizens of access to that information or any meaningful public review and discussion of a critical long-term policy decision simply seems wrong. Please have Lloyd contact me if you would like to take me up on my offer to bring an aviation expert to a community forum on these issues. Thank you. Sincerely yours, Kevin P. Egan.
Thank you. I believe one thing for the record, at the time in 2005, the county was the sponsor and operator of the FBO. For the first time in the years of the airport being in operation, consideration was being given to privatize the FBO services. And that was a huge discussion. I can remember sitting in Rotary Club meetings where discussions were held around the table. It was an election topic in 2004 because we had never done anything like that before as a county and an operator of the airport. Today, 10 years later, those circumstances are entirely different. And so, you know, I appreciate Mr. Egan's opinion and letter, but the times are different and the circumstances are certainly different. So if you would convey that to him, I'd appreciate it. Next speaker would be Donald Sharman. Okay, thank you. Let's see, Greg Easton. Is Greg here?
Yeah, my question's already been asked and answered.
All right. Mr. Easton has no comments then. Dick Manhart. Okay. Bob Connor.
Can everybody hear me? Okay. I just have, it's Bob Connor, 163, Maria, I knew they were going to get me. 16301 6765 Road. Okay. I'm reminded back when I was in university, and Ayn Rand was one of my favorites. And in there, she, in her Atlas Shrugged, she had the statement about when there was a seeming contradiction like we have right here with some of these things, we need to go back and check the premise. And what I'm looking at here is that the premise here is that this was an unsolicited RFP. In view of the fact that we've had all this information that's been withheld, I'm wondering if we can prove that this was an unsolicited RFP. I want to just check that out. I'm also wondering here, as special counsel, is your obligation...
Bob, you got to get closer to the mic.
Still can't hear me?
No,
I'm okay now?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. As special counsel, is your obligation to the BOCC or to the public?
Okay.
Okay. And also, Are there only, what we've heard so far is that there are only two ways to deny an RFP. I'm sure there must be more.
So in terms of my representation, I represent Montrose County.
Right.
Montrose County is represented by 3 elected officials in the form of Board of County Commissioners. Those are the individuals that I report to. I have attorney-client privilege. It extends with the county. Only those entities are in a position to waive that privilege. To the extent that the board is acting in a representative capacity of the community, I guess you could say that I represent all of Montrose County, but let's be clear, I represent Montrose County as a legal entity, which is represented by and speaks through the mouths of the Board of County Commissioners. In terms of the list of bases upon which a prospective tenant could be denied an opportunity, I did give you 2. I actually talked about 3. We talked about the notion that it would be unduly costly or burdensome, and it would require reducing space by an incumbent tenant. We talked about safety and efficiency. We talked about the proprietary exclusive. I gave a list of some other, examples where the land was physically not available or the land was not suitable, but I think they fit within those broad categories. Right. It's hard to say, every circumstance is different. There may be individual circumstances that would warrant denial. The question, as I've said a few times now, is whether or not any of those circumstances are present here.
Thank you. And I also want to just determine somehow here, is Mr. Stumer in any way potentially involved in this process? That's just kind of a yes or no.
Not to my knowledge.
That's, and I also want to know, are all open meetings recorded?
Yes. This
Also,
meeting's
the
being-
meetings...
You
the
got
meet-
3 recording devices right in front of you.
5.
2 there and 3 down there, so there's
We're talking
5.
about, I'm not talking about this one here. There are other meetings that you have during the week constantly that I don't know that you record.
Yes.
You record all of them.
We do. We do.
That's what I
Yeah.
just want to determine that.
Mm-hmm.
And also, there's this one. This came up here about, did the county have to issue an RFP? Mr. Lloyd Arnold, in an earlier meeting, talked about the fact that the county did not.
Well, we'll
have to
answer
issue.
that. We'll answer that question, and then
Sure.
we'll go on to the next speaker. Lloyd,
Would you like me to ask that last question?
did we have to issue an RFP?
Actually, no. According to the federal obligation, it's a first-come, first-served basis. The RFP was an extra step that we undertook because we had issued an RFP in the past. So, as far as our grant obligations are concerned, it is first-come, first-served, and we did not have to issue an RFP.
We could have simply entered into a contractual arrangement with one or both of the entities or all 10 of them that expressed interest.
Correct. And with regard to the solicitation, I can tell you that Majestic walked into my office one day and expressed that they wanted to operate an FBO in the airport. You don't really think I have the power to attract an FBO from the East Coast and have them spend $5 million+ here at Montrose. I wish I had that kind of power, but I don't.
Okay. That's,
And you need to keep in mind that Qatar Aviation had come to us 2.5 years ago with a similar request, except they wanted to operate out of an off-airport facility, and so that request was not entertained for that reason. So this isn't the first time that a request has been made.
I understand. So no one from here asked someone from elsewhere to come and ask for an RFP, because that's out there, and that's what I'd like to have.
Well,
answered.
there's all kinds of stuff out there, but you guys gin it up amongst yourselves,
we
and you
can
don't
clear
come
it
and
up.
talk to us about it.
We can clear it
You
up.
make, it's all speculation. I'm telling you flat out, no. I'm not a pilot. I couldn't even begin to tell you how to fly an airplane, okay? Who's making those comments back there? This is ridiculous. Let's be respectful. Who is that? Rumble? That's uncalled for. And Mr. Ramsey, you too.